Viktor, 43, successful businessman, sent me a letter that haunts me. 11 first dates in 4 months. Every single one ended in disaster. Arguments, insults, women blocking me. One called me emotionally unavailable. Another said, too intense. Before that, boring. I think I'm the problem, but I don't know what to change. Viktor isn't alone. After analyzing hundreds of these stories, I've discovered something crucial. Most men aren't failing because of bad luck. They're failing because they keep walking into the same 3 traps. The common denominator isn't bad luck, it's his own selection process. Trap 1. The promise of happiness is when a man abandons his boundaries because he believes a woman, usually based on appearance, will deliver happiness he can't create himself. Trap 2, the reversal, is when a man enters relationships hoping to solve his problems and becomes the solution to her problems instead. Trap 3, the generous angel, is when a woman overwhelms a man with kindness from the beginning, creating artificial connection before he's evaluated who she actually is. All 3 exploit something the man wants but hasn't built for himself. Viktor's 3rd date was with Marina. Stunning, the kind who turns heads. Here's what matters. Viktor's an introvert who prefers quiet environments. Loud restaurants stress him. Clubs create anxiety. When he asked Marina where she'd like to go, she mentioned that new rooftop bar with a live DJ. Viktor felt his stomach tighten. Everything contradicted what he enjoys. But he looked at her photos again and said yes. Marina arrived 40 minutes late. No apology. Viktor had been sitting alone, nursing an expensive drink, trying to converse over deafening music. When Marina sat down, she kept getting up for photos, chatting with people she knew for 10 minutes. She was in her element. Viktor was drowning. After an hour, she said, "You're really quiet tonight. Are you always this boring?" Something snapped. He said something sharp. She responded sharper. He walked out. She blocked him that night. Viktor told himself it was her fault. But Viktor didn't see his own role. He chose the wrong venue for himself. He set himself up for failure. Viktor learned nothing. His next date was another beautiful woman wanting somewhere loud and expensive. Same pattern, same outcome. What Viktor doesn't understand is he made an unconscious calculation. She's beautiful. If I can be with her, I'll feel good about myself. Therefore, I should do whatever it takes. This is Trap 1's core illusion, the belief that a woman's beauty translates to your happiness. Here's reality. Attraction is not compatibility. Beauty doesn't mean shared values or enjoying the same things. Viktor knew he was an introvert needing calm environments, but he threw that away when a pretty face suggested otherwise. The trap isn't the woman. It's the man's willingness to abandon himself pursuing something he thinks will make him whole. Beauty isn't rare. Millions of attractive women exist, but far fewer are attractive and compatible with who you actually are. Stop treating beauty as primary filter. Beauty without compatibility leads exactly where Viktor keeps ending up. Blocked, frustrated, alone. Dmitri, 41, recently divorced, lost his apartment. He was renting a small room, rebuilding finances. Then he met Oksana, 38, with a teenage son and her own apartment. 2 bedrooms, good location, fully paid off. Dmitri saw opportunity. He genuinely liked Oksana, but a calculation ran, if this works, my housing problem is solved. Then her son needed things, school supplies, clothes, a laptop. Oksana would hint Dmitri should help, and Dmitri, wanting to secure his place, helped. 2 years later, Dmitri realized something devastating. He'd become Oksana's maintenance man and financial backup. The apartment wasn't his. The renovations increased her property value, not his. The stability existed entirely in her name. When the relationship ended, Dmitri walked away with nothing. He'd neglected his own recovery to invest in hers. He wasn't her partner, he was her solution. Sergei dreamed of a country house but couldn't afford one. He met a woman owning exactly that. When she mentioned it on their second date, Sergei's eyes lit up. Soon they spent every weekend there. The house needed work. Leaking roof, falling fence, neglected garden. He threw himself in. Every weekend became work weekend. He spent savings, learned new skills, poured years transforming that property. 5 years later, the relationship faded. When they ended it, Sergei looked at the house he'd rebuilt and realized it had never been his. He'd worked years on someone else's dream. Within 3 months, Dmitri had essentially moved in. That's when the reversal began. Oksana's apartment needed work, small repairs first, then bigger projects. Bathroom retiling, kitchen appliances. Dmitri spent every weekend working on her apartment. His money went into materials, his free time disappeared. Both Dmitri and Sergei entered relationships hoping to solve personal problems. Both found women offering what they lacked. Both gave far more than they received. This is the reversal. A man identifies something he needs. He meets someone seeming to have it. He attaches himself. But instead of gaining what she possesses, he loses what he brings. When you enter relationships from positions of need, you lose negotiating power. That desperation makes you exploitable. You become the person who fixes, funds, maintains. You become the resource. Never expect a partner to solve your problems. If you need housing, get housing. Enter relationships from completeness, not lack. Test. If this person disappeared tomorrow, would your life still be functional? If no, you're not entering partnership. You're entering dependency. Andrei, 39, single for 2 years, then met Julia. From their first meeting, Julia was extraordinarily generous. She brought him a gift on their first date, a book based on something he'd mentioned. It touched him. Second date, she cooked for him. Third date, she bought him a sweater because she'd noticed he was cold. She memorized how he took his coffee. She texted good morning and good night. She anticipated his needs. Andrei was overwhelmed. After years dating in different women, here was someone all in from day one. Within 2 months, exclusive. Within 4, she'd moved in. Within 8, she was pregnant. That's when things changed. The generosity revealed itself as investment expecting returns. Gifts stopped, but expectations didn't. Sweet texts became demands. Her needs grew daily. Andrei found himself bound to someone he barely knew. The courtship had been so intense, so fast that he'd never asked, "Who is this person really?" 2 years and a difficult separation later, Andrei was paying child support, wondering how he'd gotten there so fast. The speed was the warning sign. No one falls in love that fast. What Andrei experienced wasn't love, it was a campaign. The generous angel trap exploits what every person craves, feeling truly seen and cared for. When someone showers you with attention from the beginning, it creates artificial intimacy. You trust before they've earned it. You commit before you've evaluated. The rule, if it seems too good to be true, slow down. Real connection takes time. Someone moving that fast is running from something, pursuing an agenda, or incapable of healthy pacing. Healthy relationships build gradually. Trust is earned over time. Someone rushing to lock you down is prioritizing the lock, not the relationship. Accept generosity while maintaining boundaries. Don't let it obligate you. Let time reveal who she is before binding decisions. Test. Imagine the generosity stopped tomorrow. Would you still want her? If you hesitate, you're responding to gifts, not the person. What do all 3 traps have in common? The man chose based on something other than compatibility. Viktor chose looks. Dmitri and Sergei chose practical advantages. Andrei chose how good the attention felt. None asked, "Is this person actually right for me?" They focused on what they could get and forgot to evaluate what they were getting into. Every man ignored visible red flags. Viktor ignored incompatibility. Dmitri ignored building equity in someone else's asset. Sergei ignored imbalance of investment. Andrei ignored unnatural speed. The information was there. They didn't want to see it. This is the core problem. Emotion-driven decision-making in an area demanding logic. Feelings are not strategies. Attraction is not a plan. When you choose based on feelings rather than observation, you're gambling with years of your life. Dating is about compatibility, shared values, aligned goals, mutual respect. Finding someone who fits your actual life. How do you avoid these traps? First, know what you actually want long-term. Get clear before dating and use it as your filter. Second, choose partners whose personality and lifestyle align with yours. Third, never enter relationships to solve personal problems. Your housing, loneliness, finances are your responsibility. Fix these yourself, then date from strength. Fourth, don't be seduced by early generosity. Appreciate it, but don't let it accelerate commitment. Time reveals character. Fifth, say no early. If something feels wrong on first dates, trust that instinct. Walking away from one bad date is infinitely easier than walking away from a bad marriage. Sixth, watch behavior, not words. What matters is what they do consistently. How does she treat you when things go wrong? How does she handle conflict? These reveal character. Viktor still fails because he hasn't learned to stop chasing beauty at compatibility's expense. Dmitri rebuilt his life slowly. The lesson cost him years. Sergei drives past that country house, looks at the garden he planted, reminds himself to never invest in something that isn't his. Andrei sends child support monthly, wondering what would have happened if he'd slowed down. These men aren't stupid. They fell into traps designed to catch exactly their desires. The traps aren't going away. Beautiful women who don't match your values. Opportunities to solve problems through someone else's assets. People who overwhelm you with affection before you evaluate them. What can change is you. Learn to see these patterns before falling. Develop discipline to walk away from things that feel good but aren't good for you. Men who succeed aren't luckier. They're better at filtering. They know what they want and don't want. They have self-respect to wait for the right match. Be that man. Filter ruthlessly. Maintain boundaries. Never abandon who you are pursuing someone who isn't worth the sacrifice. The only person guaranteed in your life forever is you. Every woman might leave. Every relationship might end. But you'll always live with yourself. Make sure the choices you're making are ones you can respect in the mirror. The traps only catch men who don't see them. Now you see them. The promise of happiness, the reversal, the generous angel. Will you recognize them when they appear in your own life?